Okay, so welcome to episode 3 of Cory's Coding. We are back today for a video that's hopefully going to outline the importance of while loops. We're going to touch on for loops a little bit, we'll talk about them. We won't go into too much detail because we're going to look at the structure of a while loop and how it can affect our program in particular. Now, if you've been following along the videos previously, you will have looked at print statements, input and output, data types and variables, and then if statements. So if I just give you a scroll down here, we have our program centered around Final Fantasy VII. We talked about like character health, names, XP multipliers, all that fun stuff. This is for player 2. And as we scroll down, our lesson 2, we looked at if statements and what will happen, what we want to happen when an enemy approaches. So do we want to be able to fight them, or do we want to be able to run away? And we basically said if the choice was to fight, that we'd initiate some sort of battle sequence, and if they said run away, we had the option to run away from the fight and no XP would be gained. Now what we want to do is we want to present an option that will allow us today to repeat this choice if they put something in that isn't recognized, because that is something that we need to happen. So for instance, if this part of the code is executed, our else statement, where it says sorry your input was not recognized, I need the game to allow the player to enter again. Okay, if they press a key that isn't recognized, they need to be able to enter that choice in again so they can choose an option at least. That's going to be the focus in today's video. So what we're going to do is we're going to take lesson 2, we're going to make it in essence lesson 3 as well. Okay, so I'm just going to put a quick comment here. Lesson 3, while loops. Now the structure of a while loop is quite simple. I'm going to come down here and we're just going to look at it because we need to think about the condition that we want to generate. Now the variable that we're referencing in particular is called choice. Now choice is going to be one of two things that we want it to be: fight or run. Now if it's anything else, if they type in something that we don't expect, for instance anything that is not, fight or run, I want them to continue that loop. Okay, so if the choice is not equal to fight or run, then run this again. If that makes sense, right? Now one of the issues that my students always have is that they think that because they have a choice variable here, if they put a while loop above it, so for instance we're going to put our while loop here, so it continues as it says enemies approach again, right? Now to structure a while loop, if I put while choice, because that's the variable we're going to reference, now to do not equals, we need a exclamation mark and an equal sign, not equal to. So exclamation mark and then equals, if I can do it properly. We want to say fight or run. It's really easy to do, so we can do in our speech marks fight, which is our answer if they want to fight, and then we can use our or operator command, and then put run as well. So if it's not one of these two, to run that. Now REPL's flagging up something for me really quickly, and it's letting me know that actually there's an indented block that's needed. Now just exactly like if statements, the requirement with while loops is that you must make sure any code that is going to be inside that loop is indented. So everything that's inside this while loop that we want to execute in a loop has to be indented once. So that will be everything. So if I highlight all of this, hit tab, oh, feeling the tiredness, excuse me, then I can do it really simply. Now what you'll find actually now is another error. So we have no error down here, but when I come up here it says undefined name choice. Now despite the fact that I have defined choice here, it's actually not been defined when I call the actual reference to the choice variable in this while loop. So I need to actually make sure choice has been initialized previously. I can do that really easily. If I do choice and then equals, so we're assigning a value, we can just assign it an empty string. Now the reason why I always tell my students to assign it as an empty string in the first instance is because you're allocating that memory space that's going to be needed for choice. whether it's fight or run. But you're also making sure it's not set to a particular value. Okay, so if you set it to fight instantly, it wouldn't run this code. That would be an issue. So we'll give it a run, we'll see what happens. If we hit run, talks about cloud strife, sets our values. Enemies approach from the reactor, what will you do? Now if we type in anything other than fight or run, it should run that while loop. So let's type in A. Sorry, your input was not recognized. Enemies approach from the reactor. What will you do? Will you fight or will you run? So we'll try this again. We'll type in someone else. Let's type in VBN. VBN. The same again. And our output does exactly the same. Now we're going to stop this now and I'll run it again. Now if we type in fight and we think about what is actually going to be displayed. Because what we've got is a while loop here that will execute while that's not equal to fight or run, and may in fact actually generate us a problem. So we're going to try it. What we do, fight or run. If I type in fight, I've got that correctly there, press enter, the battle begins, but it says enemies approach again from the reactor, what will you do? So in actual fact it's not pulled us out of this loop because our variable choice, despite the fact that it's equal to fight here, needs to get back round. Now what I can do, and what I will do, is create something outside the code of the while loop that will allow my program to continue once it's broken out of this loop. So if I type in print, we are out of the loop. Now if I run this again, technically speaking it shouldn't work. If it does work, that will interest me. So we'll do fight again. So you choose to fight. Now again, does battle begins. Note to self, do not record the videos at 9:45. Bad decision. We are live currently, twitch.tv/itsCoryB if you haven't been on the channel before. And you're seeing us on YouTube. Hi YouTube. Make sure you check out the channel. We stream mostly Wednesdays, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Mostly. But do check it out. It's good fun. It's done the same thing. Now what we can do, and this is a quick fix as it were, to break us out of this loop if we need to, when the fight has begun and we want to get out of this loop, we can use a keyword command in Python called break. That should allow us to get out of it. Now I'm going to test it with the fight one in particular. So if I type in fight, it begins that. So for instance, it will take our choice variable, have us inside this code. So it's inside this while loop now. It runs this if statement, runs this code, and then breaks us out of this choice loop if that's correct. Right? Which is what we want to happen. Now the only thing that we want to happen as well, if they choose to run away, is for it to get out of the loop as well. So if we try this now and we type in run, it breaks us out of the loop again. Okay, so it's a really simple and easy way to generate a while loop. There are different conditions that you can use and we'll explore them in more of the series, but what I wanted to do is to create a way now that our program will allow us to repeat the battle sequence if, or to repeat the choice to initiate the battle sequence if the user enters an incorrect command. So if we go for it again, if I type in anything else, 3, S, F, anything else, we are creating ways that our program is foolproof. So we'll make sure the program won't crash dependent on the actual input. And that's one of the key things that we particularly find when we're programming at any point in time. So it's making sure that your program does not crash, does not break. That's one of the most tricky and difficult things. So that was while loops in particular. And one way to use them if you're using the not equal to command. Now you might decide actually I want to use the equal to. Only run this while loop while it's equal to that particular value. That's another thing that you could do as well. The final thing to say in this video before we close up today is that the next part of the program that we're going to be looking at is actually looking at functions. So we're going to be building this battle system and this is the first time that we'll be making it in this particular format. So looking at functions and procedures and how we can return values so we can update a battle sequence and affect the values of our characters outside of the actual main body of the program, which is possibly one of the more tricky aspects of programming in Python, particularly at GCSE. So I hope you found this video useful. If you're watching it as part of the series, hopefully you're following along well. Remember, the link to the code is down in the description. It's lesson 3, episode 3, Cory's coding. If you like the video, hit like for me, it's always appreciated. And please do share and subscribe if you're interested in the content, you want to see more. Let me know what you want to see. That's also a massive thing. If you guys are interested in seeing something in particular, you want to see me program something, just think about scale for me, right? Time. So it's a hard life being a teacher and streamer and a programmer and a sleeper. Very hard life. But yeah, episode 4, functions and procedures. We will come back to for loops. So if you're interested and you want to know anything about for loops, drop a message in the comments below. They're always appreciated. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.